visit to Governor Mbeki. We landed in Mpumalanga on Monday. We started our program at Emalahleni on Tuesday. Yesterday, we visited Ligwa, local municipality. I want to welcome all who present now in the meeting, that we can start our program, that we can get enough time to engage. And the presentations will be only 35 minutes per presentation. After presentation, we go to clarity seeking questions. I've got a message here that there are 3 councillors outside who want to join us. Unfortunately, they can't, because due to the regulations and the number that is here is only those who are supposed to be here, those who are invited. In the council is the Troika, and the mayoral was invited. Since in the Governor Mbeki, we don't have a mayoral committee since the mayor has resigned. We only have the chief whip now and the speaker. I want to apologize for those councillors who want to come inside here. I'm going to item number 2, where is the introduction. I will ask Honorable Mahlangu to start for the introduction, and we go row by row that we can see who's here. Thank you.
Honorable Chairperson and Honorable NEC, the Speaker, the Chief Whip, and all protocol observed. Dikele, there is Mahlangu, it's my name. I'm part of the team from the NCOP as a permanent member, as a permanent delegate for Mpumalanga. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. It seems to be Honorable NEC, the Speaker, the team members of the Portfolio Committee, members of the Portfolio Committee, the Chief Whip, and the officials present in this meeting. My name is Mpumalanga Ephraim, permanent delegate and member NCOP in Mpumalanga. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. It seems to be Honorable NEC and the House at large. Honorable Chair, my name is Mpumalanga Ephraim, a member of the Portfolio Committee on Culture and Tourism. Thank you.
Members of the NCOP delegates and members of the legislature and our MEC and our support staff from all departments. I'm Honorable J.L. Tabeke, member of this committee, chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of Health and Social Development, and the deputy chair of chairs in the legislature. Thank you.
Greetings, colleagues. MEC, my name is Senzo Namela, permanent delegate of Mpumalanga.
Thank you, Chairperson. I would like to greet the House and thank the Lord that we have survived yesterday, and I would like to ask us to pray before we continue with this meeting, because we survived yesterday. So I thank the Lord for that. My name is Nomshato Gertrude Nyambe, an MPL and a member of this committee of COP. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. My name is Trudy Frobia Morgan. I'm a member of this committee from this provincial legislature.
Good morning to the 2 co-chairs and to all the other colleagues, Sonia Bossa and the permanent delegate for Mpumalanga. But before we proceed, Honourable Chairs, are we within the Act to continue with the Speaker speaking on behalf of the Mayor? Because as we know, the Speaker's role is to convene council meetings and to enforce the code of conduct. And if we can be pointed towards the act that says that the speaker has the right to take over these duties, I will withdraw my question. But I do not want to go forward and be given all the information, and at the end of the day, we are told that it's not valid. So please, if we could just get clarity on that, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Good morning, honorable coaches, and the honorable speaker of the municipality, and honorable members from the National Council of Provinces and the Portfolio Committee, and all our support staff. My name is Mandam Sevi. I'm a for court.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the Portfolio Committee. My name is Dr. Charlie, the Chief Whip of the
Yes. No, I just want to check with the co-chairs. I mean, is it safe? Because the people are saying what's happening.
Okay, let me give to the chief whip because he was checking the chief whip. Maybe can assist.
Yeah, there's Chair outside the members of the FF. Hence the request that they want to be part of the meeting. The members of the FF that are outside.
Honorable Mashang.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Thanks for the information, Honorable Chief. Chair, I want to speak to what the Honorable Bishop has asked. And I'm going to request that we should not allow ourselves to be caught up in the politics, which might not be our business for the day. What we are here to do is to find facts and do oversight over this municipality. Yesterday at the NCOP Provincial could not be available to make his presentation, and he requested one of the colleagues to make a presentation on his behalf, and it was accepted. So if we have the speaker who can make a presentation, let's allow that. And the issue of the mayor not having resigned or what happened, I think the property department will be able to deal with that. Let's allow, I'm appealing that let's allow the speaker to present the status of the municipality so that we can interact and we will have a report as we go back to our different legislatures.
Thank you. Honorable Zandamela, then Honorable Bishop.
No, thanks, Jefferson. I think when I heard the question properly that was asked, are we within the act? If we can just be clarified on the proceeding. I think that was the question that was.
Honorable Zandamela, I think Honorable Maslang made it clear. Yesterday, we remember the MEC of Proctor was not there, but we didn't ask any act that why Ms. Jones to present the MEC. So I don't know why today we have to be having a problem with the Speaker of the Council to give us a brief presentation, because our main issue to be here, we are here to do the oversight and get the report, what is the state of the municipality according to the focus areas. So if the Speaker is not going to give us the presentation, who's going to give us the presentation? Because the executive mayor is not here and there is no one who's being appointed as an acting mayor. It's only the Speaker who's available. Honorable Bishop.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. To compare a council with an MEC is just not on the table. It's two completely different structures. Now, if you can give us the assurance that the speaker is willing to be held to account for what the mayor and the rest of those implicated are, then it's fine. But we cannot expect the speaker to sit in front, deliver something to us, and not be on board with regard to everything. It is a question that we ask, are we within the Act, the Structures Act and the Systems Act to carry on? We all know the situation at Governor Mbeki, but as legislators ourselves, we have to remain within the prescribed acts that have been given to us, and I feel that we must work according to that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, members. I want to give to the MEC to give us the advice.
No, thanks, Chair. The honorable members are correct to raise the question, because ordinarily it would have been an executive mayor who would respond. But we have received a letter of resignation from the executive mayor. And in terms of the law, when the executive mayor has resigned, it collapses the mayoral committee. Our argument when we arrived was that why you want somebody to act as a mayor because the mayor has resigned. Now, if you wanted Honorable Councillor Honorable Councillor Ntrapo to present, that would have been a serious problem. So we are sitting with the problem that we don't have an executive structure. And we can share with this meeting yesterday as an executive council, because there is no way we will not attend the meeting with an agent executive council. Amongst other issues was to deal with the matter of COVID. We have placed this municipal administration as of yesterday, because on the basis of the problems are here. So we really appeal that let's proceed, because even if we place the municipal administration, the only person who left behind is the speaker in terms of the law. So we think that the speaker will only present the issues of COVID and Peggy, and from the hindsight to understand what has happened. And we're also going to present that there was a forensic investigation, and we're going to present with a public document now. So I really appeal that we allow the meeting to unfold. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think we are, thank you, MEC, for advising us. I want to go to the apologies.
And there was also a question that is the speaker going to account to certain? I should think maybe one of the things that we should look at is just to get the presentation and just read it. There's no one who can account on behalf of that presentation that we present.
MEC.
Look, we're going to account, because what is worse about this, there's no MM. It's suspended. There's no CFO. Next week we're going for a court on a declaratory order, NCOP, because the CFO that was appointed was not a qualified CFO. But Kashamuno reconcile matters. I'm in the CFO, and in the findings, it has been resolved that the MEC must go to a high court for a declaratory order. So really, it means that as a provincial government, we're in charge of the situation of COVID.
Just to follow up there.
Honorable Damela, can you allow us to continue with the program? Because I think the MEC make it clear that they are dealing with the issues of governing Mbeki, because as we are here as permanent delegates, you must have a report, and we will see when he's not accounting, because he is going to do the presentation, and I think with assistant with the acting municipal manager, they have to respond to the presentation that they're going to present to us.
I agree with you, Chair. I wanted to suggest, isn't it where a committee? And obviously we must report, as you said. And as the MEC has said, the MEC is in charge due to the executive council meeting that said yesterday. Then why don't we take the MEC's report? Why don't we take the MEC's report and give the governing report as a code?
Honorable Masang.
The MEC, the Department of COP, the MEC is in charge of the municipality.
Yes, Honorable Zandamela, if you look at the program, the MEC is also going to give us the presentation, the brief overview of Governing Mbeki before the speaker came in. Let's allow the process to flow, honorable members, because we can't go back while the municipality is willing to give us a presentation. Let's allow the speaker to do that. Honorable Masang, hands is up.
No, I'm covered, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Okay, apologies. There is no apology. Only apology that we've got is from the Public Service Commission. As we're moving with the program, we are on, oh, sorry, and the apology for Honorable Masango. She will be excused by 12 o'clock as a chairperson of the appropriation. She have to meet a joint meeting with the minister at 12:30. As we are here today, the purpose, as the permanent delegates from the other apologies for Honorable Nyambi, he's not feeling well. We are here to visit the municipality after the local government week that was on the 8th to the 11th of September. There are outcomes and discussions that came out where we decided to take the provincial week to the municipalities. Governor Mbeki was part of those municipalities. We decided to visit and check the focus areas as described. We are here today because the provincial week is the key mechanism of the NCOP to do the oversight and see where we can assist, and also we are looking for the things that are affecting the provincial government through provinces, through the national sphere government. So it is also provide an opportunity for the NCOP and the provincial legislatures to join engage with the citizen on challenges and experience. Today, as we are here, we are going to look for the municipality over the key focus areas that are going to present. Also, the MEC will give us the pre-overview. As I'm having my co-chair, she will take over now, and that we can move the meeting and see what is going to get at the governing big. Over to you, my co-chair.
Thank you very much, Chair. My name is Makosa Zanamasilela, the chairperson for Human Settlement and Culture in the province. I'll be co-chairing with my chairperson, Malika. We are now on item number 5, which is brief overview by the Honorable MEC for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Honorable MCB. Honorable MCB, you are given 35 minutes to present. Over to you, Honorable MEC.
No, thanks, Chair, for the opportunity. We have already greeted the leadership from the NCOP and the province, including the administration. Chair, without really spending much time in going into details, I'm sure we should give account to the NCOP on the number of series of events took place about municipalities in the province that are having challenges. Amongst them is Dr. Jess Moroka, Lekwa, Governing Day, Pigs, and so forth and so on. Just a month ago, we're sitting here in the select committee led by Honorable Totov. And we all agreed in that meeting that there are serious problems in the municipality. We have done everything as a provincial government in terms of the constitution, section 154 schedule 1 and section 155 schedule 6, to support the municipality to work efficiently and effectively, but all our efforts did not prove good fruits. And there were serious allegations of maladministration and corruption that were raised by a number of whistleblowers about the municipality. And as a result, the Executive Council went to present a view that the municipality, together with Dr. Jess Moroka and Pixley, must be placed under forensic investigation. The period of the investigation was 2 months. But because of COVID, the investigators couldn't finish in time. And when the Select Committee was here, we raised serious concern that we should present the report as a province. And we did so. Among the 3 municipalities, we also presented the report to the council. And we have then requested the council to convene its special meeting, because in terms of the legislation, after the MEC responsible present the report to a council must then convene a special council meeting to action plan what the findings of the forensic independent investigations. We must indicate, Chair, that among the investigations, it was a total collapse of good governance in the municipality. And the total collapse of prudent financial management and delivery of services. And the investigation pointed out to that as a truth, as it was alleged by a lot of complaints. So where we are now, we have finalized. Tomorrow is the last day for all the 3 municipalities, including Kobe and Mpegi, to submit an action plan. As a province yesterday, we set to develop what we call a matrix, because experience has taught us that on interventions, it usually becomes difficult for somebody to become a reference plan. So we felt that we should do a matrix. We're going to look into the submitted plan of action. I'm going to cite practical examples. Part of the report says the MEC must go to court for a declaratory order. We're going to do that next week by Thursday. But it says they should also be a report to Hawks. So we're waiting for the action plan tomorrow. The action plan must say to us who is going to Hawks when. So if the action plan will say to us, I'm just preempting, I don't know, actually, I have not yet seen it. If it will say to us, we'll go to Hawks in February, we'll say, no, we're going to Hawks on Monday. That's what our matrix was dealing with yesterday. Because we do not want to be seen spending the money for taxpayers for nothing and without dealing with the consequences thereof. Amongst other things, beyond the investigation, we must indicate that this municipality has not been audited last year because it couldn't present its annual financial statement to the Auditor General. And as a result, you don't have an opinion about the municipality. And the municipality, for a number of years, it was getting very bad audit. It ended up with a disclaimer. So after a thorough assessment, we have then resolved as NCOP that no, let's place this municipality under section 139 1B for administration. Ordinarily, this municipality, to be fair and square, requires dissolution. But then you see, you cannot, because when you want to do dissolution, you must show to the minister that over and above your constitutional obligations, you have put other measures to ensure that you bring the municipality to order. And when the administration that we're taking full powers, will only leave the power of the speaker to convene council for the administrators to be able to present progress report. And we are going to appoint the administration team for a period of 6 months with an intention to increase or to enlarge the time if things are still not well. And our approach is that we
what we presented yesterday to Executive Council and approved is that we want to identify, as we did with Dr. Jasmine, we want to identify officials in various departments which are glued with local councillors to send them, because after we've done a study, even in the Minmet, it has been agreed that in the country, most municipalities that were taken through Section 139B, when the administrators goes out, things fall apart. So on the basis of that, we felt that in the two options that we presented, option one was to get officials from various departments. Option two was to get secondment from national office, and option three was to get independent individuals who will deal with this matter. But I must still to say that to the leadership, in terms of the CFO, we are going to treat it separately, because when we go for the declaratory order and they say there's no CFO, we have to bring somebody who got a prerequisite skill to be able to do that. And national government as a database to that particular effect. The problem of ISCOM, the debt of ISCOM is beyond 2 billion in this municipality. And it has been clearly shown that the debt won't be able to be settled with the kind of serious allegations and serious mismanagement that we had in this municipality. You've got area called Zinon and Pedal. People were paying services. But instead of the money being ring-fenced for the payment of electricity, the money was used for something else. And last year, honorable members, I'm sure on the 24th of December, when the AG called me and said, no, but let me say, I've got problems with two of the municipalities, Dr. Jos Maroka and Covenant paying. I immediately phoned the mayor because I've got open line with all executives. I said, but no, look, you've got a municipal manager who have not submitted annual financial statement. So suspend the person. So my view, the mayor took too long, or council took too long. Because if you are employed, you've got a performance contract and there's a service delivery implementation plan that you must be judged upon with. So there's no use. That's why I said the day before yesterday. There's no use for executive mayor to stay with the person who cannot do his or her work. So in our view, we have seen this thing coming. So when they suspend the municipal manager, I'm sure it was only 2.5 months ago, it was already late by then. This person was getting salary for doing nothing, absolutely, for creating problems for the municipality, for collecting money for services that are rendered and people are paying for those services and subject that money for something else. As we speak, there's a serious problem of electricity here in Covenant Bay. We took a discussion with MEC for Treasury and the department. But we must also forget that ISCOM is also not playing fair. The equitable share was withheld by national government, national treasury. We have to engage national treasury. We have to say, no, look, this municipality has collapsed. And if you also held the equitable share, you are saying to the people or to the voters of Covenant Bay, they must then receive nil in terms of service delivery. Then the equitable share was released, and one of the conditions when we took engagement with national treasury was that plus 74 million rand will be paid to ISCOM. And then ISCOM is then going to increase the notified maximum demand to address the issue of Petal and Zinon. And that money was paid. But ISCOM again didn't pay it fair. It didn't do what it agreed to do. So we've got a parastater which do things as they want to do. That's why we have requested now to meet with people to take decisions, because usually they'll send Mr. Chris Nikuleni and one of their officials. We come as government, as MCs and HOTs and executive mayors. They send officials who can't take serious decisions. So we've then resolved that we're going to convene a meeting somewhere on this day for the week after next to speak about the problems, not only of Covenant Bay, because the problem of ISCOM is in the entire country. You know what ISCOM do? The municipality will do collection from various people that are working. There are people from government who are earning on the 15th of the month. There are others who are earning on the 25th of the month. And this corp says it wants its money before the 7th or the end of the month. And I spent 12.5 years as a council and various position. Usually, after all and sundry, we usually get our money on the 13th. Even from big businesses, we get our money on the 13th. So when you say this come, let's better pay you on the 15th. They agree, but they agree with interest. So they put interest and penalties. So instead of the municipality to service the debt, it must then service the interest and the charge. So which we think is bit unfair. And we have perused their submission to national government when they require for bailout. They mention municipalities, but when they receive the money, they are unable to respond to what they've made a request for their bailout that they should get. The other matter that we must indicate is that we had the problem of CDWs. We've got 15 CDWs in the municipality. And the challenge was the moratorium of the province. 3 weeks ago, we've since declared the moratorium. And we've got different batches of advertising appointment. But we're going, government is going to be considered in terms of adding at least half of what is required in terms of the CWs. But the relationship between the CWs and the council is not a good one. And we have since intervened and mediated that we must have a good relationship. The policy for public participation was lacking, and we have recommended that there should be a policy, and our team is assisting. The LED has collapsed, then the strategy, and together with provincial pressure, we are helping municipalities. One among them is Covenant in terms of the LED. So in the short and the long of the story, it's a house that has collapsed, this municipality. And with the administration intervention, we think that we will be able to monitor and will benefit this municipality. As we're doing with Dr. Jess Morocco. At Dr. Jess Morocco, the intervention is done, but as we speak, we're babysitting that municipality because we don't want to pull out. Because immediately to pull out, they think that you'll only assess them by sending officials. You are going to have a problem. So what we do, I always hold meetings with them, get their problems, and up to so far, there's a lot of improvement from that municipality. But what we are going to do, Chair, as we conclude, is that immediately after this meeting, when we get the action plan tomorrow,
What are you concluding?
we are then going to get where we must send you the program by next week, Wednesday or Thursday. Why next week, Wednesday and Thursday? When we get the action plan, we must then sit down as COP and look, as I've indicated, where the action plan does speak to what the forensic investigation arrives at. And then we look into our metrics, and then we'll then give you a problem so that we are able to monitor as National Council of Provinces and the portfolio committee in the province on whether what we said is being done. Yesterday, as a joke, when we speak, others said, no, but look, at the Jess Morocco, there's a borehole that is installed in the house of the council. And the councillor covered that borehole with a sand load, a lot of sand during the investigation. And it was cleared up, we found the borehole. So they said from Mpumalanga, what are you going to do with this council? And then as I said, what do you want me to do with this council? And then they said, no, you must arrest. I said, I'm not police. What I'm going to do, as required by the law, I'm going to check tomorrow. I'm going to check on Friday, what was yesterday, whether in the action plan, are they going to recoup the money first and foremost? When? And where the report says open criminal charges, there's a new speaker, the speaker is assigned to go into that. If the speaker is not going to do that, I'm going to open a case against the speaker and the council. So that's the kind of presentation or program we want to send to you. That is going to have for details and time frames so that we are able to monitor. So in long and short, Chair, we are sitting under a house that has collapsed. That's why we've intervened as a provincial government to put an administration. So I'm not going to bore you here to say, 50 collapsing potholes. You have seen the other challenge is the issue of potholes. As you drive in, you see the issue of potholes. You must also acknowledge that it's a very high industrial area, governing place. So everybody wants to come to Sekunda to do business. What is going to happen during the intervention of administration? We are going to instruct our acting HOD to develop and engagement in the private sector, so that the road users with the big trucks must also be able to compensate the problem, because you can blame the municipality, but it is not them who is creating the potholes. They've got their weaknesses, but where it is not there, we shouldn't be able also to penalize people for something that they have not done. So, Chair, in the long and short of my story, it appears quickly a week. Says I'm always administration. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. We'll now move to the next item, which is item number 6, presentation on state of service delivery. Over to you, Honorable Speaker Zuma.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Co-Chair, President yourselves, members of the delegation, Honorable MEC, Chief Whip of Council, and members of administration present. Well, it becomes a bit difficult to present after what you have been told that you are going to be taken into administration. Therefore, most of the interventions that are now outlined will be very much questionable in terms of the authority to implement most of what we are recommending. Well, I think that Honorable MEC has touched some of the areas that are covered by the presentation from Government Bay. Where we are seated, Government Bay municipality, as said by the Honorable MEC, is a very seriously industrialized municipality, which contributes the 4th largest economy in the province. In the financial year of 2019, it has contributed 12.7% to the GDP of the province, and 47.2% to the district pocket. Government municipality has been identified amongst the struggling municipality in the province due to financial challenges. Consequently, the municipality has been receiving support from the Treasury, COPTA, and GSPM. The municipality continues to operate under difficult conditions, as evident in the escalation of the debt book. The purpose of the report is to address the NCOP of the challenges that the municipality is faced with, and also immediate interventions that we are putting forward. Since the beginning of the financial year in July, we have managed to sit a total number of 8 council meetings, which right now it's 9 because we had one yesterday. We have had 7 meetings of the mayoral committee. We have had a bit more than what is covered there in terms of Troika. I think it should have been around 15 instead of 5. Section 79 MPEC committee has set twice to deal with investigations and assess the reports in terms of functionality of the executive. Section 80 committees, we have had about 18 meetings. Audit committee has set more than twice since now it is means of towards the final stage of submission of the annual financial statements. Risk management committee has set twice. The disciplinary board has set 3 times to deal with the certain matters. Management meetings, 8 of them have set, and the labor forum, due to limitations in terms of the COVID regulations, we have had to restructure how we are engaging with labor. In terms of good governance, MPEC concluded its investigations in terms of the reports for the 1st and 2nd quarter of the financial year 2019-2020. The disciplinary board is investigating 3 cases as we speak, and it will be taking its report tomorrow in the council meeting. Council extraordinary meeting, which set on the 20th of October, has since adopted or accepted the report, section 106, which was tabled by the MEC on the 6th of October. And yesterday, it has since adopted the action plan. which will be submitted once we are done with this meeting to the office of the MEC. In terms of internal audit, there are 6 positions that are there within that particular section. 1 is vacant, and the members of the committee are there with their capacity tabled. In terms of audit committee capacity, there are 5 independent members appointed, 3 which are qualified chartered accountants. The functionality of the committee meets quarterly and reports to council. 2 meetings have been held since the beginning of the financial year. Effectiveness of the committee, assessment of the committee is due in November to be conducted by an ad hoc committee of council. Report will thereafter be presented to council. In terms of public participation, I think the MSC has already touched on this, that we have 32 wards and 15 CPW members. We have established ward committees in all the wards, and most of them are very much functional. Due to COVID, there's been some hindrances in terms of their performance. Also, due to COVID, we have been unable to meet with communities in a contact manner. We have been engaging through social media and website and print media. The stakeholder meetings are ongoing. We are able to engage through the given platforms. In terms of the draft public participation strategy as raised by the select committee, we are due for presentation tomorrow in council for approval. Building capable local government. In terms of the management, our senior management is full, but with 2 suspensions, that of the municipal manager and the CFO. Therefore, we're currently having those positions as acting. In terms of service delivery, we are having the slide that is in front of you, which speaks to provisions of water, sanitation, electricity, roads, refuse removal. In the percentages that are highlighted there, water we're providing 97.3%. In terms of sanitation, we're at 98.2%. Electricity, we're at 90.3%. In terms of road infrastructure, we have 505 kilometers of road, and then we have 56% that is currently tarred. Refuse removal, we are covering an area of 76%, which is the formal area of operation. And then there are statistics there coming from the census that you can go through. In terms of access to water, the challenges that we're faced with is that we are having a restricted land ownership in terms of the farm areas. So we are only able to use our water tanks to provide for those areas, which is a municipal owned fleet of 3 trucks. Failure also to build in terms of water with regards to the areas that we cannot be able to have the bonded water connections. Rainwater account is the second highest challenge that we are faced with 370 million that we are owing, but we have an arrangement of weekly payments. In terms of water-related projects, we are currently having a project that is in ENRA of a pipeline of 6.3 million, which is an internal funding, refurbishment or an upgrade of Van Heerden Reservoir, which is at 18 million, which is a municipal infrastructure grant. Construction of Chalsalis pipeline, which is at 42 million, which we are doing through an SLP program assisted by SASO. Maintenance and replacement of valves and the valve to a tune of 1 million, which is assisted by Exaro. Drilling of 31 boreholes to a tune of 4.6 million through the municipal infrastructure grant. In terms of sewer, we are currently faced with a situation of sewer spillages, and then our capacity is seriously aging, and therefore we are working together with the provincial government to intervene to the challenges that are currently facing us. There are serious issues on environmental degradation that are happening. In terms of sewer-related projects, currently we are refurbishing and upgrading the Mzinoni West water treatment plant to a tune of 9.4 million, which is MIG project. Construction of water waste treatment plant in Chalisalis to a tune of 13.6 million. It's also an MIG project. We're upgrading the Kinross wastewater treatment plant to a tune of 19 million, which we're using the WSIG funding. Upgrading the Mpumalanga Extension 5 pump station and the outfall line to new Extension 24 pump station to a tune of 30 million. It's also WSIG grant. We are also going to be upgrading Mpumalanga bulk line and pump station in Extension 24 to a tune of 60 million using the regional bulk infrastructure grant. We're also doing refurbishment of Mpumalanga Extension 22 pump station and upgrading Mpumalanga Extension 25 pump station to a tune of 18 million. We're also doing maintenance of sewer lines in Bethal, Mpumalanga 126, 28, and 31 to a tune of 1.1 million using MESA grant. We're upgrading also the Leandra Rise and May to a tune of 20 million. It's a joint program between Sasol and Anglo assisting the municipality. We're doing maintenance of Leandra sewer network to a tune of 15 million by the Department of Human Settlement. Maintenance of sewer line Mpumalanga Extension 18 to a tune of 9 million. Evander Gold Mine assistance. Refurbishment of the and upgrading of the Kinross pump station to a tune of 5 million assisted by Sasol. In terms of electricity, currently we are still experiencing localized load shedding due to incapacity for us to provide electricity to the demand of the communities due to the fact that ESCOM has lowered our NMD. The volumes in terms of usage are presented in front of you. In April 2020, the governing body municipality has requested for an increase to the areas affected, and ESCOM declined the proposal due to governing body's inability to honor their account as the reason. And conditions were set out by ESCOM that we must be able to pay an upfront amount of 95 million for Mzinoni and 27 million for Mpumalanga. And these payments were effected, which later ESCOM then demanded that they will not be able to give us the NMD and the transformer, the mobile transformer that we had asked for up until we have presented an action plan. We have since engaged with the MEC, which a task team was therefore established to implement a financial recovery process. Currently, some of the interventions that we have tried to put in place are the MOU that we have managed to get into the GSDM, which is Kharsimane District Municipality, and a tender through the district has been taken out to public for members of public to contend, and it closed on the 25th, and we anticipate the appointment of that particular service provider on the 2nd of November to deal with issues of maintenance and operation, including vending. We're currently owing ESCOM 2.1 billion. Following the interventions that we have made, we are faced with a bit of a frustration because an investment was done to Mpumalanga by council in terms of upgrading the capacity of the infrastructure in Mpumalanga. That particular project has been completed, but we still do not have capacity since ESCOM has refused to increase the NMD and also to give us the mobile transformer. But infrastructure is now readily available to provide our communities with sufficient capacity of electricity. Measures that we have taken to ourselves in trying to intervene in building revenue so as we can be able to deal with electricity issues. We have increased revenue collection using the implementation of a program that is localized called Rotula, which means disconnection of all illegal connections, installation and registration of meters. Amnesty periods have been issued for those who are going to come forth in terms of dealing with their accounts, deal away with the issues of ghost lending, because there has been people that have been able to sell electricity outside of the municipal parameters using illegal means, as that kind of money never arrived to our accounts. We wanted to hand over the license on electricity to ESCOM, and ESCOM gave us numerous kinds of conditions for them to can be able to take over the license so that they can service the people, which that kind of the kind of conditions that were given to us are impossible to achieve, as they would demand over possibly over 10 billion rands, which we can't even afford for now what we are owing them. Signing of a repayment plan is one of the things that we have done. Pilot and ring-fencing of the Betal Mzinon account is also something that we have done. On road infrastructure, I think we have spoken about that we are at 50%, and most of our roads are unfortunately having a lot of potholes. We have since invested as council a number of millions from the equitable share, amounting to 11.8 million on top of the budget that was initially reserved when we adopted the budget in the end of last financial year. So what we have said is that it becomes important that we in-source most of the operations so as to enhance the quantity and quality of the municipality in providing for road infrastructure. Therefore, the table, members will see that there is a table of fleet in terms of the budget as we move with your presentation slides that the municipality has resolved to purchase. In terms of waste disposal, our landfills are currently at the state that we are presenting. We are currently having 4 landfill sites, and one of them is closing at the end of this year, which is situated at Kinross. The Betal one is remaining with a lifespan of ±20 years. And then we are currently in a process of establishing one in Leandra, which will be used as a more of a regional bulk landfill site with deposit site establishments in various townships where you are going to be depositing before it is transited to the regional bulk center. Secondary landfill site is remaining with only 1 year lifespan. In terms of cemetery infrastructure, we are currently having 37 cemeteries, and grave sites which were identified. The municipality is responsible for 28 of them, which 11 of them are active, while 17 are inactive due to them having reached capacity. One is a Commonwealth grave, which is situated in Bethel. A draft cemetery master plan is in place, which will deal with addressing most of some of the challenges that we are faced with. None of the existing and future cemeteries have environmental authorization in terms of NEMA. In terms of facilities, these are the total number of facilities in terms of halls, stadiums, and lapas that we are having our press members to go through the quantities and the allocation. In terms of libraries, we are currently having 11, and we are having 11 or 6 fire stations, which are operating at a 24-hour basis. Libraries, both libraries and fire stations needs infrastructure, repair and maintenance, including security. Fire stations that need renovations are as mentioned. Only one backup generator is installed out of the 6 fire stations. Insufficient firefighting vehicles and equipment is one of the challenges that we are faced with. In terms of grant-funded projects, I think I have touched on almost all of them before, but what is important to note is that with MIG, we are currently at an expenditure total of 12.379 661.65 cents in terms of our expenditure. Which is therefore outlined in terms of percentages in the following slides. In terms of financial viability, in 2014-15, we have received an unqualified audit, 15-16 unqualified audit with findings, 16-17 unqualified with findings, and then 17-18 we had a disclaimer, and then 18-19 we remain with a disclaimer. For the financial year 18-19, AFS were submitted late, and they are still being audited as we speak. A draft management report was presented by the Auditor General on the 10th of September 2020, and we await the final outcome. Due to the late finalization of the audit, following the late submission of the AFS, the acting municipal manager escalated our concern to the Auditor General's South Africa Business Executive, Provincial Treasury. A meeting was held on the 18th of October, and AG has requested more information from the Governing Bay municipality. In terms of the 2019-2020 AFS, we will be submitting the AFS on the 31st as per the applicable legislation. Council is sitting tomorrow to consider that kind of submission. In terms of the post-audit action plan, the municipality has managed to reduce the disclaimer opinion paragraph from 15 to 7 paragraphs based on the draft management letter for 2018-2019. Uncorrected misstatements relating to the audit of the financial statements still being finalized are the ones that are listed below. The issue might change as the audit is still in progress to be finalized in early November. In terms of the unauthorized and irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure. The opening balance, as previously reported, was 897 million. The current movements, there's nothing there. There were no movements. In terms of fruitless and wasteful expenditure, opening balance, as previously reported, was 345 million. And expenditure identified currently is 202 million. The closing balance is 548 million, with all the rents and cents on the side. Irregular expenditure opening balance was 658 million, which in the current we have experienced 327 million, which accumulated the total to a closing balance of 985 million. Treatment of unauthorized, irregular, and fruitless and wasteful expenditure. The municipality is investigating possible instances of irregular expenditure which has not been included in the amount disclosed above. The full extent of irregular would only be known at the end of the investigation. Council approved irregular expenditure amount of 191 million and the rents and cents that follow on the 30th of January 2020, as per the resolution stated there. That is subsequent year-end and reporting period. The write-off will therefore be effected in the financial statements with period ending 30 June 2020. Council also approved write-off of 320 million with the rents and cents that follow relating to the previous financial years as per the resolution A05 A005/01/2020, that is subsequent year-end and reporting period. The write-off will therefore be effected in the financial statements with the period ending 20 June. The above write-offs were considered accordingly after MPEC detailed investigation. Other transaction has been referred to the disciplinary board for consideration. The disciplinary board is due to table the report tomorrow in council meeting. In terms of the annual financial statements preparation, as alluded to previously, I think members will find satisfaction in what is being presented there. In terms of our budget for 2020-21 financial period, we are presenting the pie chart that is in front of members with most of what is outlined there being consumed by service delivery charges. In terms of the budget for 2021 financial year period, in terms of expenditure, that is the outline, with bulk purchases in terms of water consuming an average of 12.96% and electricity consuming 24.9%, and employee-related cost being the biggest, the second biggest with 24.59%. The rest members will have to go through the present time. Billing report for September is as follows. For the month of August, we have managed to bill 166 million, and then we were down in terms of September with 114 million. In terms of the billing itself, from March to September, it is outlined there what is it that we had billed members of public and what is it that we were able to realize as the municipality. Billing in terms of the towns and townships and farms that we are governing over is also outlined in terms of value, in monetary value, and also percentile on the site. I would request members to therefore go into the detail. The comparative rate in terms of payments is also outlined in terms of percentage, with comparison taking from 2018 to what we are looking at in terms of 2020, 2021. In terms of our creditors, they are outlined as presented with all of the fundamental areas being covered, and I would request members to go into detail for their information. Finance recovery plan, the outline is there as presented, speaking to strengthening governance, organizational restructuring, human resource management, infrastructure, and service delivery improvement in terms of financial sustainability, administration, control, restructuring of the budget, improve cash flow management. In total, there are areas which are 222, which fully implemented are 89, partially implemented are 104, and not yet considered or implemented are 35. In terms of revenue enhancement plan, with immediate action, we have started with the replacement of faulty water and electricity meters, defaulting consumer management, payment of municipal staff and councillors, establishment of revenue task team. Short-term plans, debt collection, top 50 highest debt from debtors from business and residential is where we are attending. Government departments, rentals, set payment of municipal account as a condition for various license and plans issued. Pre-legal processes undertaking. In terms of long term, we are looking at data cleansing, reconcile our GVR and billing, handover of accounts so as they can be able to be collected accordingly. In terms of governing the responses, this is where mostly we are affected, Honorable MSc through your chair, by the installation of section 139B, which will therefore speak to most of the issues that are coming. It speaks to do away with the outsourcing of certain important service delivery issues, where we have to render services that can be delivered internally. That council resolved that meter reading be in-source, that governing the municipality through a resolution stated which prioritized the additional equipment share allocation towards building internal capacity in terms of fleet, increase revenue collection on electricity, implement the project rotula installation and registration of meters, and list all consumers on the financial system to do away with ghost vending, hand over of imbalance license of electricity to ESCOM, signing and repayment plan to ESCOM so as to comply with their demand. Pilot and ring fence the Betal and Zinoni intervention. The recommendations that we were putting forward is that the NCOP takes note of the presentation that we have put forward, that the NCOP notes the interventions put in place in dealing with service delivery challenges, in particular on electricity owing to its effect on the municipal business and residents. That the NCOP takes note of a number of projects that are being implemented through the regional bulk infrastructure, MIG, INEP, and government funded, internally funded programs. That the NCOP takes note of the measures put in place to improve the financial position of the institution through increasing revenue. Governing the municipality remains financially unstable due to expenditure exceeding the income, with the ESCOM being the highest financial debtor, owing to reduction of electricity supply. Payment of services is also affected, as communities are reluctant to pay due to internal rotational load shedding. The Governing Bank Council adopted a payment plan, which has since been rejected, but we are currently in an alliance of the noted COPTA, Treasury, SALCA, NISA, and Pepsi relations, which we are hoping that are going to intervene, in particular with the issue of the financial recovery plan. The decline in the national economy performance is affecting local business, as major employers such as Sasol are scaling down. However, GMM is engaging strategic partners in curbing job losses. GMM remains committed in turning around the situation that we are faced with. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Zuma, for the presentation of the report. Can we move to item number 6.1, which is interaction with both reports from the MSC and also from the municipality, or clarity seeking questions? Honorable members, can I note hands? Okay.
Oh, sorry, Chairperson. I think we must wait for the speaker to come back before we start raising the questions, because I don't know who's going to take the questions and respond, because of Pumilo speaker. We must wait for the speaker, then we start raising the question.
Yes, can you check what happened yesterday? The Honorable was saying they are alive, they must bring what we're not there. If we can share the moment.
Honorable members, we'll wait for the Honorable Speaker just for a few minutes, so that when you raise your questions, can I note hands those who want to speak to the report? Let me start this side. Honorable Morgan, Honorable Bosov, Honorable Zandamela, Honorable Tabete, Honorable Mashangu, and Honorable Malika. In that order.
Thank you, Chairperson. Greetings to the House, all protocol observed. Chairperson, I'd like to firstly appreciate the presentation by the MEC. I don't have a question, I just have appreciation for what has transpired here yesterday. Placing the municipality under administration, I think it was the best move, and I'm happy that as province we'll be monitoring every move that is happening in the municipality, and we will work together to build this municipality to be back on its feet. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Co-Chair. I would also like to thank the presenters, the MEC, and as the speaker left again, Or is
No,
it
no,
here?
I'm here now.
And thank you to you. You were put on the spot and you did it very well. With regard to this action plan, NEC, what will happen if it is not according to your wishes? If it's just a slapdash action plan, and have you or are you going to attach a timeline to every action plan that is going to take place? Because it's no use having an action plan and it could take 10 years for it to be completed. The Section 106 report speaks book volumes, and it is absolutely disgusting that officials blatantly took or laid claim to what was not theirs and took from the poorest of the poor. And I truly hope, NEC, that those that are found guilty, criminal charges will be laid against them. Your debt book is of great concern. It's very difficult to speak on anything now because of the Section 106 report. But if you go to your billing report for September 2020, it doesn't have a page number, so I cannot direct you, but it's more towards the back of the report. Your percentage collection also speaks book volumes, and I'd like to see a report on how you are going to increase it. Ember, 22% collection. Mzoyoni, 10%. Lebohali, 2%. Betel, 29%. Terra Nova, 23%. Charles Salia, 28%. What is the reason that it is so low? Then the other thing that I also looked at, and I don't know what we're going to do about it, because this whole week we've been told that consultants are not only appointed to assist in doing the necessary audits or assisting, etc., etc. They're there to transfer skills. Now, if you, Honourable Speaker, it's difficult to put you on the spot because you're not the executive mayor. Could you enlighten this House as to whether any skills have been transferred from consultants to the officials that are using consultants? Because you spent in excess of 750,000 on these consultants, and if a consultant hasn't delivered on its mandate, they then are sent on their way and another consultant is appointed. Chair, what I would like to suggest is, and I don't know if it is in the report because we haven't had time to go through it, is that we call for a skills audit report on the financial section to understand the skill base. So, NEC, that is very important that the NCOP be provided with that as well. I saw on Facebook some photos that were placed the day before yesterday of irate consumers that were dumping their waste, their refuse at the municipal building. Because for the past 4 weeks, you haven't been able to collect refuse. And the reason cited is you have these trucks, but unfortunately you cannot afford to buy any tires because you do not have the finances to do so. Please could we have more clarity on that? The cemetery, I understood from the speaker that there's a remedial plan in action. Does this include the provision of water and the provision of, or the maintenance of the toilets? Because nothing works there. The office that is there has gone to waste. Nobody sits there, nobody attends to anybody. And as you know, cemeteries are actually one of the most dangerous places to visit. I also understand that many households do have electricity meters and do have electricity meters, but in many instances, these meters do not work. And officials are then sent out, this is allegations, are then sent out to bridge these meters. Could you provide this House with a report on how many households do have water and electricity meters that are functional, that are able to add to the kitty of Governor Mbeki? I'd like some more clarity on your wastewater treatment plant in Charles Severe, because at this point in time, you are still using a honeysucker. Because if my information serves me correctly, there are no connection points from the households to the wastewater treatment plant. So if we could just get some clarity on that. And then I also read somewhere that you use a company by the name of Ideal Prepaid for electricity. They sell the power to the people. So these are allegations, correct me if I'm wrong. They collect the money, they subtract an admin fee, and then the balance is paid over to the municipality. If you could give an indication on whether this is so, and whether you do get the monies due to the municipality. And then I'd also like to know, with regard to councillors, how many of your councillors are in arrears that owe the municipality? Because as you know, no councillor may have an arrear account. And then my last question, Honourable Chair, is that I also read you had an agreement with Cecil on some other project. I forget the name of the project, but because you didn't honor your agreement, Cecil withdrew. And in your report just now, Honourable Speaker, you spoke of going into an agreement with Cecil again. Can you give an assurance that this municipality will honor the agreement with Cecil? Because at this point in time, there is no way that National Treasury will be able to assist. Because I've just read an article placed, and our Honourable Minister of Finance, Tito Mboweni, said that government is currently lending at a rate of 2.1 billion per day. So there is no way that they've just bailed out Eskom for 10.5 billion. So that money could have been used to assist these municipalities that are suffering. So there is no money available from the kitty of National Treasury. So please, the agreements that are entered with private sector, honor that agreement so that we can see that this municipality is brought back to the glory it once had. Thank you very much, Chair.
Okay. Thanks, Chair. I would also like to appreciate the two presentations by the speaker and the MEC. I just want to, I didn't hear the action plan, MEC, with regard to the report. Maybe if you can just assist us with the action plan, when who's going to do the action plan. And then secondly, MEC, we also appreciate the decision that you have taken with regard to section 193. But my only concern, MEC, it's like the department is taking too long with those interventions. And one of the concerns about the situation here in Gavende, because the municipality is in the state that it is because it's true because of cancers. Though we appreciate the 139B, but we would have liked to see you evoke section 139C, MEC. Why I'm saying that, because the municipality, as I've said, is in this state is because of the cancer. And if you evoke 193C, then you are hitting them hard on their pockets. The worry now, those councillors are still going to enjoy their salaries under administration. But good luck, and we hope you get it right. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much, Chair. Let me welcome the presentation by the department made by NEC, and also the presentation made by our speaker here. Safe to say, Chair, I've noted a lot of questions. As NEC alluded to say, there's no municipality. So if you read all the reports that are on our hands, you can see that really there's no municipality. But nevertheless, we trust the department will assist this municipality to pick up again and resolve all the challenges that they have. I trust MEC for Kota, actor, where actor MEC. So I trust that really he's going to make an impact in this municipality. Okay, first and foremost, I want to try to shorten my questioning. As I've said, I've noted almost 17 questions. So I don't want to go through those because yeah. The first question, Chair, is on the issue of MIC fund. According to this report, I don't know which one, the one from MEC to NCOP. They say the municipality on a MIC fund, they've got 57 M and they spent only 3 million. That was the end of September. Now I'm checking, are they going to be able to spend the balance by the end of the financial year, or the MIC fund will go change? The other thing is the issue of refusal. There's areas that the municipality at all, they don't remove the refusal, and due to this COVID-19, health is very important. So what about the health hazard on that community, and how are they going to manage to remove those refusal without the assistance of the municipality? The other issue, the issue of sewer leakage. I think almost in all the plans of the municipality, it's coming up. So I just want to know the turnaround strategy, MEC and Speaker, how are you going to deal with this issue of sewer spillage? Because if you say you've got master plan, what's that master plan? We want to know, because we want to do oversight. And on the issue of the challenges that you have in the progress of the in the progress of dealing with these sewer spillages, we have just written. Let me make an example. The refurbishment. Okay. And upgrading of Libuhan, Leandra, Betal, and etc. It's under implementation. And all the other things it's under implementation. But there's MIC fund that has been put in place. So you're supposed to say, we've spent so much to this, and the project itself it at this stage, at this percentage, 99% or 35% or wherever. So this response, it not outline the problems and the intervention proper. So you need to have time frames always and put the completion date so that when we respond correctly. So the issue of informal settlement, we have said the issue of informal settlement is growing around governing body. But safe to say, Speaker and MEC, people are sick and tired of RDP. They don't need RDP. In fact, they need place to build their own houses. So now most of the municipalities do not service the land for the people whether to buy or to build their own preferable houses so that the municipality can collect a revenue. That's why they end up always invading. And the municipality will just keep quiet when people still maybe digging or doing the foundation and whatsoever. When the people have already spread those sheds and whatsoever, that's when the municipality wants to add. And I think we need to improve and have a proper planning on that regard, Speaker and MEC. The other issue on the issue of consequences management, I think they say the Section 79 committees were not sitting. If we've had proper leadership in this municipality, you've got the speaker who's dealing with the councillors, the attendance and the performance of the councillors. Now, and the ethic committee is there. So I don't know why was not a sitting and what's going to happen in future to make sure that every councillor, remember those councillors are getting salaries. So they can't get salaries staying at home, doing nothing and not monitoring the work of the municipality. And the MM is there to deal with the consequences management of the officials. So I don't know why they are not, it takes so long and not operating. And the CMM and CFO is suspended. From when? And where are we with the matter of the MM and the CFO? Because they are getting salary and they are staying at home. Can't we speed to deal with this matter? If we charge them speedily, so for the benefit of our taxpayers. The other issue, the issue of ISCOM. What if ISCOM is going to switch off the electricity for the municipality? What's going to happen to the business surrounding the governing body and our community at large? While I'm speaking about the ISCOM, the issue of the billing system, we had the public hearing and people were crying on the billing system of the municipality. Do you have a plan to deal with this issue of the issue of billing? Okay, let me cut this one and then last one, Chair, the issue of NIC fund. They say for construction of WWTW, I don't know what's that chart, they spent, the NIC fund is 13.6 million. They must explain how much have you spent on this NIC fund that you have put in place. There's 9.4 million, 13.6 million, 19 million, 30 million, and 60 million.
we want to know, don't generalize to say you have spent 99% on what? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Coaches, thank you for the opportunity. Let me also join the honorable members by welcoming the presentation by the MEC and the Speaker of the municipality. And we want to appreciate your cooperation and your openness in terms of the matters before us. Honorable MC, you have highlighted that the select committee on COPTA visited this municipality last month. We are here as permanent members during this week of Provincial Week. And portfolio committee in the MA also wanted to come. And the message that we get from that is that the whole country is concerned about this municipality. It means everybody is concerned. There is a serious problem. So also the MEC said, according to the report, and being a resident in Mpumalanga, there have been several attempts from the Department of COPTA to intervene. And it looks like the MEC is saying we are left with no option but one. But as a result of the discussions that they had yesterday in EXCO, they opted for the other intervention. But I could feel it's not easy to get Manda, it's not easy to get Honorable MEC, to get Honorable MEC discouraged and like to get him frustrated. But you can sense from his voice that the situation is frustrating him. And whatever he's trying to do is not moving at the speed that he expects. And we want to appreciate your commitment, Honorable MC, and your team. And we also welcome the decision that the EXCO have taken. The issue of the two senior managers, according to the presentation here, the MM was appointed in 2018 and suspended on the 3rd of September this year. The CFO was appointed in October 2017 and suspended on the 9th of October. And according to our expectation, if you had a full complement of these senior officials and had the relevant skills and qualifications and the willingness to do the work, you wouldn't be where you are if they knew really what they were supposed to do. And I think the municipality is taking a good decision if the president took that decision. MEC has hinted a bit, which is the kind of the CFO that was the experience of the CFO. It leaves much to be desired, and it compromises the voters here because they can't access services. You take resolutions as a council, they must be implemented, but those people who are supposed to be implementing them and suffice in terms of their qualifications and their skills, experience, they are unable to do those because they are irrelevant. And we are also tired. Because all the time we are being told and we are being insulted as ANC cadres that you are busy with the deployment of cadres and this is what you're doing, corrupt. You appoint people who are not qualifying, who are not relevant. And we have resolved, and we can't keep on compromising our organization. We can't keep on doing that. For whoever have the power to do it, let's get relevant people. Because we want to see the institutions that we are governing. Zinikeza abantu what we have promised, what we have committed, what we have got into contract with according to our manifesto. But then if our municipality is going to attract, and says the municipality because of its economic wealth, so they now will find a time, a chance to take it. Maranatha, when you are a CFO, you are such an important person of the institution. And you must be, we expect you to know the budget cycle, understand your responsibilities. And if you are unable to submit the annual financial statements in time, what were you thinking? Were you not aware of the time frame? It's really disappointing what our people are doing to our government. The MEC's presentation also highlighted the poor policy on public participation, and your presentation, Honorable Speaker, has confirmed that on page 12 to say you still have a draft strategy on public participation that is going to be presented to the council. And I want to say that this is the core. Public participation is very important in our system because whatever decisions, whatever plans, whatever interventions that we're doing, whatever deviations that we request, if there's a need, is informed by the public. Gone are the days when we would think this year we're going to budget the RDP houses, whatever. And hence we have decided as the ANC-led government to do away with the housing department and have an approach of housing settlement. And the housing settlement program is an integrated program that involves everybody. It involves education because there should be schools. It involves public works, roads and transport because there should be roads. It involves economic development because there should be economic activities so that people can get work nearer to where they're staying. It involves the municipality in terms of the infrastructure that needs to be, installed there and many other role players. So the integration, the interrelation between the spheres, among the spheres of the government is very, very, very important. So the approach of human settlement, it must be followed. It must be followed. And I know in many municipalities, it has been done. So, kuzoba difficult if we don't have, we have an LED that is not functional. The economic, this is a very economic active municipality. Hence I'm saying there are so many people, there are so They're eyeing it. Such a rich municipality, then we have an LED component that is not functional. How do you assist? How do you make sure that these people that are making business here are planting back to the community? That is why people will end up deciding that those companies must give feedback to them. So the community must benefit out of this thing. The action plan by COPTA to revive the municipality, I think it will be important that we also get that action plan, Honorable MEC, so that we can also monitor and not wait until later when things are not going well. The status of the roads in the municipality is something that one knows, and you have spoken to that. But I think, Honorable MEC, can I have the attention of the MEC, please? Honorable MEC, I will also, I heard what you said in terms of the intervention about the road infrastructure in the municipality. I think you can also speak to Department of Public Works, Roads and Transport to talk to the mining companies, because there's a budget. They are compelled to contribute, because these trucks, they are the ones that are really damaging the roads. So your counterparts, I think, would know about this, so that they engage the miners. The audit committee on page 10. The internal audit committee. According to what is written here, Honorable, is it page 9 and 10? According to what is written here, I don't really expect the municipality to be regressive in terms of the audit outcome of the AG. Because these people, according to what is on this paper, they are experienced, they have right qualifications. What is outstanding? Right attitude. Because they should be helping the municipality to deal with the findings of the AG, so that we have a mitigation plan, and they must assist the municipality to make sure that that mitigation plan is being implemented. And the municipality has the right to call the AG and have a session with them, engage with them. Maybe they can also assist in terms of the strategy as to how can you try to resolve the issues that they've raised, or try to mend them. Chair, the expenditure on conditional grants. You know, one feels so bad. We don't expect to see the conditional grants or money being sent back to treasury, or the money being given to provinces, because the rule is that it will be given to provinces that are spending. So we don't want to see non-service delivery while there is money available but not used to the latter. And I think that is something that needs to be addressed in terms of public participation. To can understand your community in terms of their needs. Okay, this one is a could make the name. All right. I leave this to other members. The issue of the sewage, of sewage. I was part of the government from 2009, and I found this problem there. Then it's a long outstanding problem. Leadership in the province came and there were changes. Leadership here in the municipality came and they changed. What is it that is so difficult for us to be able to attend this thing as Mpumalanga? Honorable MEC, it's a nightmare, that thing. And the attitude and your energy, I think maybe you will be able to intervene. And it was rumored over at stage some years back, Sasol offered to assist the municipality, but they wanted to do that independently, but it is rumored, it's alleged that the municipality there disagreed. They wanted Sasol to give them that money. You were not there, Honorable Speaker, but you have to account, you have to take the blame. If that is true, it's wrong. Because if we allowed Sasol to intervene there and deal with that sewage, we wouldn't have so much problems. You know, towards the elections, all parties and new parties and independent candidates, they all go there. They talk about that. And it's a long outstanding issue. It's a nightmare. And one fails to understand but thank you very much, Chairpersons. And please allow me to
thank you, Chairperson. Some of the issues they've been touched. I want to appreciate first the MEC for the hard work and the intervention that has been made, and to Gavin Beggy. We appreciate your proactive MEC because we know that Gavin Beggy challenges are long overdue. We appreciate your intervention with Section 106 and the intervention that you are telling us about of Section 139, 1B, due to the challenges that Gavin Beggy municipality and the issue of the maladministration in the municipality. Honorable Speaker, I want to check there is this issue that the ESCOM rejected the repayment plan that the municipality has proposed. Then the MEC has established a task team to develop and implement financial recovery strategy jointly with the municipality. I want to check that the intervention that the MEC given to the municipality did implement it, and they did follow, you as the municipality did follow those interventions and try to implement that the ESCOM can accept your repayment plan. And also the issue of Mpumalanga electrical network. On your presentation, it said to be upgraded to meet ESCOM requirements. I want to check that when is going to be started to be graded, and the time frame, because we know that the issue of imbalance of electricity is where the people are starting to make those protests with those things. And the issue of the illegal connection, you said you are intervening of disconnecting those illegal connection. As you are doing that, there is any improvement to make the revenue collection plan to increase? Because you said you've done the disconnection of illegal connection. And on the revenue enhancement plan, there is this issue you are saying the immediate plan, replacement of fault water and electricity meters. I want to check that this thing has been implemented, or you are still planning to do those revenue enhancement plan. Yeah, I'm almost covered with the other speakers, like the issue of the conditional grant and the social issue. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, honorable members, for your comments and clarity-seeking questions. We'll now allow the municipality to respond. Then after that, the MEC will wrap. Then after the MEC, my co-chairperson will take over. Over to you, Honorable Speaker.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Let me first welcome the inputs and clarity-seeking questions from members. Indeed, they show the passion that our members have for the people. The first question which was put forward was based on the issue of a decline in terms of our revenue collection, as to what might be the reason. I think the report does present the reason to say that the issue of rotational load shedding due to the shortage of capacity caused by the amount of electricity that is being given to us by ESCOM is tampering with the people's conscience to want to pay, due to the fact that they feel that they are not being given sufficient for what they are being billed for. So it is part of the process of recovery plan that must therefore seek to intervene to that kind of a process. In terms of skills provision by consultants to our internal staff, yes, indeed, there is means of transfer of skills, which is why most of the activities, for example, on the issues of annual financial statements have been done internally, so as to make sure that we're able to come out of the position which we're in. And also, the report will tell that most of the items that were outsourced, municipality is bringing them all of them back, or most of them back into the municipal space, so as we can be able to operate them ourselves. In terms of the skills audit, I think the action plan together with the section 106 will speak to that, because it is part of the recommendations of the section 106 that a skills audit be done for employees of government pay. In terms of refuse removal, we are currently purchasing a number of trucks to ensure that we have sufficient capacity. One of the slides also speaks to what is it that we are going to be purchasing. We are also having trucks that have recently arrived that were being licensed. We are done with the licensing as we speak today. They are moving out for the first time to the field. The issue of tires, it's a matter of payment of service providers due to what we have mentioned in the report, challenges of cash flow, but which is a matter that is being attended to. In terms of cemeteries, the maintenance of infrastructure there, I think the draft cemetery plan, master plan, is what is going to deal with most of the challenges that we are facing in most of our cemeteries, because when they were commissioned, most of them had sufficient capacity, but due to vandalism, most of the cemeteries that we have will find them a bit dysfunctional, in particular for the guard houses that are on the cemeteries. In terms of the functionality of electricity meters, we have just entered into a contract with IDOS, which a member also touched on, which we are currently in engagements with them in terms of provision of genuine service for us to be able to bill our members of community accordingly. Indeed, we had started with the replacement of meters, and secondly, there are meters that are part of our stores that are being utilized by our internal staff. Indeed, we can ascertain that there are meters which are dysfunctional, and we are working on replacing most of them. Currently, we are moving at a pace that is not much impressive, even to ourselves, due to contractual obligations between ourselves and IDOS as a service provider. In terms of water treatment plant of Chalisalis, indeed, there are no connections to any of the houses that are there, due to the fact that township establishment happened some few years ago, and there was development before infrastructure was laid. And therefore, we are moving to rectify, as the municipality, the backlog that exists. As we speak, the construction of the water treatment plant is underway, as reported as part of this particular report. Indeed, the municipality is currently using a program to maintain all those non-bonded sewer toilets in a form of trucks that are attending to such. Yes, we are receiving our money from IDOS, which they would have received through sales of electricity from various stations. And our finance department is in contact with them to deal with issues of reconciliation of bank statements and line items in terms of financial recording. In terms of councillors in areas, day before yesterday, I received a list from the Department of Finance, which contains, I think, 9, if not 10 members of council, which I have yesterday signed letters of demand from all of those councillors, and I would want to believe that today they've received those letters, since they are in areas for the past 2 to 3 months. Relations with SASSA. Our understanding as the municipality is that relations between ourselves and SASSA are very good. That is why we are having projects that we are reporting on them that are currently being implemented. The allegation of us wanting money in our account, I don't think that can sustain, because SASSA does its own procurement of the processes, and they will just come and introduce the companies that they will prefer. I think the only challenge that one might want to report was that at some point we did not agree in terms of project prioritization. They would have wanted to attend to others, to other projects in areas that we didn't feel that were as urgent as the other areas, in particular in the issues of electricity and sewer. So those were the only disputes that might have existed. In terms of refuse removal in informal settlements, maybe these informal settlements must also be categorized as where members of public have invaded. Therefore, there is no road infrastructure that leads to those areas. Therefore, it becomes very difficult for the municipality to delegate for collection because there are no roads for the trucks to get to those particular stations. But it is important for us to therefore report on the existence of those households which were unable to get to in terms of collection. In terms of interventions that are being made with regards to sewer, I think the report that has been presented here clearly indicates to the committee the commitment of the municipality working together with the province, the need for us to resolve the challenge with sewer. If I'm not mistaken, 90%, if not 80% plus of the projects that we are currently attending with regards to internal funding and the grants that we are receiving are all towards sewer. So as we can be able to deal with the challenge of sewer. Just to assist the honorable member, our current spending in terms of MIG is not 3 million, it's 12 million, which culminates to 21% of what is it that we have spent so far. And indeed, as the municipality, we are convinced that we are going to be able to spend 100% of that particular funding. In terms of land invasion, there is a special development program that is in place. The MEC had requested us as the municipality in the beginning of the term to make available a budget to deal with issues of land invasion. Now, the biggest challenge maybe that we might indicate to your good self is that immediately we take a posture of township establishment while we're dealing with all the EIAs and all of those things. We announce those programs to our communities through processes of public participation. Certain members of our communities end up going to those areas while they are not demarcated yet and invade the very same place that we want to develop. In Mzinoni, in Betal Extension 11, we had projected to establish 1,174 stands, which included both residents and business establishments. As I'm speaking to you, while we were busy with the plans, people invaded that kind of a land. Same in Leandra, we had anticipated to establish over 3,000 stands, and that place is already occupied illegally. Now, this then pushes us to processes of court and other major issues that must be attended. On the issue of Section 79 committees, we were specific on the basis that in the previous sitting by the Select Committee, the area of focus was on MPEC. So the report only covers MPEC and its settings. So that can be provided in terms of information if the committee so permits. In terms of the cases of the MM and the CFO, yesterday was the actual first sitting. Not yesterday, I think Tuesday was the actual first sitting of the actual case of the municipal manager, which he has requested a postponement to be not ready or sufficiently prepared to face the case. Well, in terms of legislation of local government, a case of a senior manager must be concluded within 90 days. Therefore, regardless of the postponement, the matter will be concluded before the end of this year, 2020. The one of the CFO, he was only suspended at the beginning of this month. Therefore, the 90 days only commences from the time that council took a decision during the course of this month. So the case also might be finished before the end of the year or early next year in January. In terms of the task team dealing with issues of ESCOM, I think that the MEC will be in a good place to can respond to that. In terms of upgrading of the infrastructure in Mpumalanga, I think here maybe I must indicate to the member concerned, which is the chairperson of this session, that that is one of the demands made by ESCOM in order for us to be able to transfer, which we have said that we are not going to be able, because if you are to look at the standards that they have given us, even where they are servicing themselves within the municipality, they are not having such standards. You go to Leandra, they don't have those standards themselves, but they are giving us this kind of standards. So to us, it seems as if it was more of a rejection of our proposal to have them servicing the license to have these kind of conditions, honorable member. I think that covers the questions that were relevant to the municipality. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Zuma. We'll allow the Honorable MEC.
No, Chair, thanks very much for the opportunity. Perhaps I thought that when I finished with my presentation, all honorable members will say, no, meeting is the judge. We're awaiting the report that will submit, because obviously you have resolved on 109. However, we must appreciate that every time we meet with honorable members, we go out being better than when we were right. So most of your point has been taken, and the acting HOD is here. We'll then be able to craft the way forward, taking into account all the good work done by council. Because we must indeed say that despite all the shortcomings we had, the document before us is good as a basis, and also to be included into the program of action that we want to do. The whole scenario of the government bill depicts one part, a situation of a government who was planning in silos. That's why the TDM approach has been brought in by cabinet. You will hear that ESCOM was planning alone, human settlement was planning somewhere, SOSOL was coming with this, but with a new approach of TDM under the stewardship of a chair or of a district mayor, it becomes simpler for all of us to focus on one plan, and we hope that we will be able to address. But we must hasten to say that I'm an African, in an African culture and context, a person is followed by a name. Governing is a scholar and a revolutionary and a great leader. So the municipality must reflect such a leader. You see, in African name, when you're being called lucky, means that you are going to have luck when you grow up. During when we grew up, our grandparents had names like Bopo Nisari and you will hear every time your grandmother would always mumble, even though it was unnecessary. So I want to edge, we're going to edge during the city who will present the 129 that we expect all people who are elected to serve, because we're called to serve. All the unnecessary things of inviting the maladministration are not good for the people of the country, the province, and in particular the municipality. On the issues of raised by the Honorable Bosho, probably in the policy for public participation, because we're going to be dealt with the speaker. We may want to see the draft because we must infuse civic education. Our people must be taught to pay services that they're utilizing. Because the problem of non-payment is not only in this municipality, it's throughout the province in the country in the main. So you may have to put that as a roll out to workshop our people. Skills audit will do it. We have also resolved in the province to review our chronograms, because we must also check whether the personnel in all municipalities in the province speak to the core business. Instead of employing people to come and play cards with the computers, you must employ people in accordance to the needs as it is applied by Chapter 7 of the Constitution to offer basic infrastructure. You see the issue of all tires and trucks. It all goes back to internal controls. Because to me, that is an OPEX, not a CAPEX. You see, in the operational plan, it should be clear, you know that you've got how many trucks, services. It happens in most municipalities, and we've taken a cue that we are going to convene the leadership of the municipalities, including the 8% that they don't budget for maintenance, which is a law and a requirement. It's a matter, it's not an easy thing, but do you see the issue of appointing wrong people to position? It's a problem. Ever since I came in, I have reversed more than 11 appointments. 2 were from COVID Bay, where they advertise for a technical post and they recommend a person with a senior teacher's diploma to be director. They refused. When they've done all the process, said, no, I can't. I've refused in many municipalities, I can tell you, because there's a tendency of cadre deployment and deploying wrong people to positions. And it was a bearing to our people in the future. So it's a matter that we have not agreed, and I can tell you we're 40 men of our friends, and we're still going to continue to fight. First down is not doing the right things. We'll continue to fight with our friends. Very same thing, civic education, the issue of illegal connection. We need to take our people through. The illegal connection is a problem on water and electricity, and it really affects our municipalities. It is coupled with what Honorable Tabet just said. You see, I was a speaker at some point, Honorable Zoom. Perhaps I must give you some few tips. When you're a speaker, you're the chair of council, and you're also the police of council. They know, councillors, where I was working. If I wanted, my sister is here, Honorable Member Morgan, it's here. She can attest whether I'm lying or not. If I would call a workshop on Friday, 2 o'clock, all councillors will come to my workshop because they knew I would deduct 10% as per the standing order. So there's no need for you to write a demanding order. There's a need for you to instruct salaries, just to tell honorable councillors, we are all municipalities 10 rand, and we're going to collect the 2 rand into installments, 5 rand each month. Thank you very much. Put a full stop. Yeah. You must not like to be like, and we're not fine, we're not money. It's only money that people must like to be like, and us who are called to lead, and only lead, we must take decisive decisions. That at some point, we'll even penalize our own friends, but to the best interest of the service of our people. So as a friend and a brother, I'm giving you this lecture for free. Others, I make them to pay.
Oh, after the government.
Yeah, I've declared. Don't worry. The spending of me is a call for concern. You see, from the 1st of July, at the end of September, we at least 125%. Because, come I tell you, in the second quarter, we've got problems of December. Most companies are closing. You'll not be able to access some material that you want. So it is important that at least from the first 3 months, you spend close to 30%, so that in the second quarter, you may cover 15 to 20, it will be then close to 50. I remember last year, we called the meeting on the 24th of December. I called most of mayors in Mauritius. I said, no, you must come there. We met in Bombela with most of mayors last year of them. And they were running in front of my house when I called them. And after that exercise, as a province, were the best province spending me. I'm trying to say to you, Honorable Ndombela, you must be fair. When you go outside, you start to laugh, but when you're in meeting, you must just do the right things. You are going to get it very, very simple. Yeah, on the land division, the law is clear. Just apply for eviction. Simple, remove like that. Last year, I'm also heading elections in the NGO. Last year in Bombela, some candidates we demolished the call number. On the eve of election, people are saying, no, we're going to lose election. I said, we'd rather lose election, but we're applying the law. Law must be applied at all material time. It's going to be simpler for all of us because everybody's going to understand that we're not running a banana republic. So you don't wait for them to construct, you quickly apply, you get an eviction out there, you do not go. Do not go. For those who are done ahead, you use a technique, you wait up until they put the roof, you demolish. you give them letters to say, no, please don't do it, as an evidence to the court of law that we have been giving them letters. You will never run the country if you think that we're in church. You see, in church is God, Jesus, and Amen, close chapter. With the country, we run by the law. And the law must apply across board, and our life is going to be simple. The usage of consultant were coming in. I'm sure I told you are listening to that. In our speech, in the budget speech and policy speech, we have said this thing. We have said we don't expect consultant or outsourcing of work of grass cutting, cleaning of bridges. You've got PWPs that can do those work. But because most of our both leadership elected and appointed administration are doing what we call a traveling crowd. You know, when you throw a traveling, you carry that other side. So when we come in here, we're going to limit this thing of consulting throughout the province. Consultant can only be wanted on the specific skills matters that the bid space on the what you call the designs that are required by national in terms of release of the NIC funding and whatnot. But on simpler issues, we don't need a consultant to be utilized. And where we utilize consultant, we're going to ensure that the skills transfer. So that the people in technical department, after the usage of consultant for a certain period, they will now be able to do the work by themselves. Because you find there's a PMU in a municipality. And all what these officials do is to become project managers when there's a road project. All what they do is to go for when they site the briefing and they take notes, they go back to office, they get the salary. No, they should be very from hand. That's where skills audit come in. We're coming in. And it's not going to be nice when we come in, unfortunately. We'll be coming in to correct things that are not right. The issue of the CFO, we don't even speak about it. You can have your own processes. We are saying in terms of the finding of the forensic audit, you have appointed the wrong person. And we're going for a declaratory audit to set that appointment invalid. And once court agrees with us, we give you stop your processes of spending time unnecessarily, of calling people to thesis which always qualifies. From the first place, why do you apply when you see they want is a teacher, a science teacher, and you know that you have studied biology and you apply for the position of science? You can't solve the problem. So the CFO has created himself the problem. So in long and short, check. What we're going to do, as the Honorable Masham said, we're going to give you the program at least by next week, Friday. Because remember, when we receive the action plan, we still have to go and sit down and refine. And if we've got a query, we have to send it to the speaker. Speaker, no. This is what we want from you. And then so that when we give you as NCOP for the purpose of monitoring, the program should have a clear cut in terms of dates and activities and what is required by whom and program. But once more, thanks very much. This has been a good week for us when we started at Mpumalanga. Unfortunately, we couldn't went to live on the basis of the agent meeting yesterday because I said to the Honorable Premier, I would love that we call an agent executive council so that at least when I arrive by Thursday, I will put a bit of a smile to NCOP members and members of the political committee on the decision that was taken. So, Chairperson and the Speaker were very much sorry. It was not our intention to put you under 190. I wanted to put you under C, but I felt that at least for a moment, let me try it because we are a house fallen apart. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much for the responses. I will now hand over to my co-chair to deal with item number 7 and 8.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Masilela. Firstly, I want to thank you for the Speaker, Councillor Zuma, for the presentation and the response to the members for the question as raised and for the comments. And also for the MEC for the support that he gave us since from day one, because he joined us on Monday night when we were at Emalahleni, is only yesterday, but it was the work commitment, and today is with us. We appreciate MEC to make your schedule to fit the permanent delegates, because there were clashing meetings that were there, but you did appreciate that we must come and engage with the municipality. We appreciate, and the chairperson of NCOP Provincial, Honorable Councillor Chirwa, who joined us since Tuesday at Emalahleni and yesterday at Ligwa, and today he's also connected virtually. We appreciate Salga for supporting the program. Today is the last day of our program, and today we are going to do the consolidation of the report as members and the portfolio committee, because we are here not as the NCOP members, but we appreciate the legislature. The COGTA portfolio committee is with us to support us since the first day they were with us. We appreciate the provincial legislature for the support that given to us since day one. We are going to consolidate the report and go back to the NCOP and present the report to the House for the engagement and further decisions that are going to be taken. For now, we are not going to say anything because the report is not yet consolidated, because we are delegates. Sizithunywa ezathunywa yi-province ukuthi siyoyimela eParliament. We are here as delegates to take back the engagement and the report to the NCOP for consideration and engagement. We appreciate the Governor Peggy, the speaker, to avail himself, whereas there was a challenge when we were starting the meeting, but I'm happy that you did account, because the members were scared that maybe you are not going to account. We know that you must be part of accountability because you are part of the leadership of the municipality. Everyone, if you are in the leadership position, you must be aware that you have to account, because you are here, because you are selected and the people place you to be a speaker and a councillor. You need to account every time. That's why we're not scared of asking you to come and do the presentation. We appreciate members. The communication officer requested that we must have a group photo, all of us today, that they can take to the website of Parliament, because it's our last day today. We have to go there and make Sakile will guide us where to stand and take that photo. The lunch is going to be served. Riet, where is the lunch? Because I've heard that the lunch is ready. At the library. Yes, the meeting stand adjourned, then we'll go there at the back where Sakila will advise us where to stand for the group photo.
Thank you, Chair.
Goodbye, honorable members.
Remember, switch off your sound, please.